Hi everyone, I'm George. Really excited today because I'm going to be aquascaping my favourite tank of all time, the Aquascaper 600 by Evolution Aqua. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're into planted tanks, aquascaping and inspirational aquariums, then hit that subscribe button, press the notification bell and you'll never miss a thing. Okay, so the tank belongs to Stephen. Stephen's a loyal customer to Aquarium Gardens where I met him. He's obviously bought this Aquascaper 600 and cabinet, and I offered my services to aquascape it for him on the proviso that I could create a video for you guys. So that's where we are right now. Okay, I'm just going to talk through the kit very quickly. Starting from the top, we've got a Twin Star 600S. This has an inline dimmer so you can control the brightness, 45 watts, really nice LED. I've been using this at home, we use it in Aquarium Gardens, proven technology, grows plants brilliantly, gives you a really good colour rendition. Aquascaper 600 by Evolution Aqua, 60 centimetres left to right, 50 front to back, 36 tall, premium glass, minimum silicone work, highly polished, Syrian polishing we call it. Just a beautiful aquarium. So the cabinet is the royal oak finish from Evolution Aqua, comes pre-built, all the joints are sealed to minimise water ingress, soft close hinges, drilled through the sides for your pipe work, just a really beautiful cabinet. And it comes in 16 different finishes to suit all interior spaces. Okay, let's talk about substrates. We're going to use Tropica Aquarium soil. Great products, use this in countless aquascapes now, proven performer. Really good, it buffers the pH around about 6.5, lowers the hardness a little bit, so ideal if you've got hard water for instance. Contains some nutrients as well to feed the plant roots. Also has a high cation exchange capacity, which grabs nutrients from the water column, locks it into that soil and then makes those nutrients available to the plant roots, so really good product. Got two types, we've got the normal grain size type there, and then we've got the powder. The powder's really good, same product but just a smaller grain size. This is great because you can use it as a top layer and it's really ideal for planting your tissue culture plants in, which generally have a really fine root structure, really delicate, so the smaller grain size really suits that. Okay, so we've installed 9 litres of the normal type Tropica soil and we've also got 9 litres of the powder type. Powder type's on top. Now I'm just deliberately sloping it more towards the rear. That gives us an enhanced sense of depth. So we've got about 3 centimetres at the front there and going up to about 8 centimetres at the back. You can have the substrate flat if you wanted to, but this is more for aesthetics. The great thing about soil as well, it doesn't compact. It's a very loose grain structure. It allows for really good bacteria colonisation. And because it's so light, it allows for really easy root penetration as well. A little bit more expensive than buying plain gravel or sand, but it's an investment that's well worth considering. Now it's time for one of the most important parts of the aquascaping process, and that's the hardscape. We're doing a classic Nature Aquarium style, so we're going to use a combination of wood and rocks. Got this beautiful manzanita wood. This is from Aquarium Gardens. I hand selected these pieces a couple of weeks ago. And these have come over from America. And just really natural, gnarly pieces, really beautiful. So we've got 4 or 5 pieces. We're going to position them to make a really cool kind of vertical element. So hopefully have some bits coming out the top, which looks really great. And then we'll support the wood with some beautiful mini landscape rock. Okay, we've got our 4 pieces of manzanita in there. Just had a little fiddle around. It almost scaped itself. The wood's so beautiful, it's almost hard to go wrong with it. So you can see we've got a distinct kind of U-shaped composition here. We've got all the pieces are coming out the top of the tank, which Stephen kind of requested. And I think it looks great. That above and below water thing just really kind of induces a sense of nature, which I think looks really cool. And yeah, as you can see, if you've got good materials to start with, you can create a really strong hardscape layout. So now it's time to move on to our rocks. We're going to use mini landscape rock or Sirius stone or Ryu stone. It goes by a few different names depending on where you get it from. But this is beautiful. Got loads of character, loads of gouges in there, and just gives a real sense of nature. And that's what we're trying to achieve. We're using the Nature Aquarium principles, which is all about grabbing that sense of nature from outside and putting it in the aquarium. And if you get the right materials, it becomes really quite a simple process. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stones. Always start off with the biggest stone, that's like the focal point stone, and we need to consider where we put that quite carefully. And then I tend to work my way down in size, and we just pay attention to the strata, the natural lines. If you've watched any of my previous aquascaping videos, you'll know all about strata and kind of how to line it up or deliberately oppose each other to create tension. So let's have a play with some rocks. Okay, so we'll start off with our main stone, our biggest stone here, and I'm deliberately positioning it so the strata, this natural line, is flowing towards the centre of the aquarium. And it's really important when you're doing your hardscape is just to not be content until you've just really tried out different layouts and really happy with what you're doing. And you know, some people will take literally months to create their hardscape layouts. And we don't have to use all of the stone. Just because you've got it doesn't mean you have to use it. It's actually better to have far too much material than not enough, so it gives you options. So working our way down in size, now we've got some small detail pieces here. I'm just looking at the stone, look at it at all angles, what's got the most interesting character, and make sure that we can see that. Okay, that's the hardscape pretty much complete. It came together really quickly and easily, and that's due to a couple of reasons. Number one reason, we've selected really good materials to start with, so it almost escapes itself, like I said earlier. It just lends itself to creating a really natural layout. Number two is I'm quite well practiced at this sort of thing, and I kind of know how things work together, and that's a really good lesson to everyone who's watching this video. If you're a beginner aquascaper and you're finding it really tricky to create something that's pleasing to the eye, don't give up, just keep practicing. You know, it's worth having even like a little aquascaping tank just purely for practicing your hardscaping layouts. Get as much material as you can. Always better to have far too much material than not enough. So every time you go to your local shop, check out their hardscape selection and just grab the odd rock here and there. Gradually build up your kind of hardscape portfolio, and it just gives you loads of options when you want to create a new aquascape. Okay, now we're ready to start our planting. I tend to start off foreground plants, so I've got a lovely mixture of foreground carpeting plants plus some accent plants here. We've got some Micranthemum Monte Carlo from Tropica, the 1-2 grow range, beautiful tissue culture plants. Got 3 pots of that, and then we've got 1 pot of the Eleocharis Mini, again Tropica 1-2 grow, and we've got some Helanthrium Tellanum Green, which is used to be called Echinodorus tenalis, again the Tropica 1-2 grow, and then we've got some really cool plants that I've quite rarely use actually, but I thought these would add a lovely accent texture. This is Hydrocotyle verticillata from Aquaflora, and that's going to be kind of split up and planted intermittently amongst the carpeting plant, just to add little popping textures which will look really great and kind of match the round textured leaf of the Monte Carlo. Okay, now we're ready to plant. We've prepared our foreground plants, Micranthemum Monte Carlo, Eleocharis Mini, Helianthum Tellanum, and Hydrocotyle verticillata, and I'm going to plant them pretty much intermittently mixed amongst the foreground. I'll do that right now. But if you really knew, were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? You thought I knew. Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? You thought I knew. Okay, so we've planted our foreground mixture of plants like we talked about, and we've probably covered around about the first third of the depth of the tank. Now it's time to plant our mid-ground, and we're going to use a mixture of Cryptocoryne species. Okay, first pot we're going to do is the Cryptocoryne undulata red from Tropica, the 1-2 grow tissue culture. So just remove the lid, take out the clump of plants in one go like so, get rid of the liquid, and then we can just split that up into individual portions. Next we've got Cryptocoryne moliamanii, which I've actually never grown before, so I'd be interested to see how this goes. So remove it from its pot, take the rock wool away, and then split it up into portions, different portions again. If there's a little bit of rock wool left over, that's no problem. It's going to be buried in the soil. So I'm going to plant this in the central area. This is the Cryptocoryne costata. Hopefully it will bring out a nice red coloration. Not too red, because we don't want to detract from our focal point plant, which we'll talk about later. Moving on to our Cryptocoryne moliamanii. Let's put that in this gap here. And finally our tissue culture, Cryptocoryne undulata red. This will grow up to 15 centimetres tall. Again, it has a bit of a red pigmentation under good lighting. Sometimes brown, sometimes it will stay green. And that's one of the cool things about crypts. Sometimes you never know how they're going to turn out. I quite like that element of surprise. So the good thing about crypts is that they're shade tolerant, so you can plant them pretty much anywhere in the aquascape and they'll grow. They'll do well in high light, they do well in low light, so it's a real kind of plant for all occasions. Okay, just some more crypts now in the mid-ground area. We've got a mixture of Petchii and Walkeri, and I'm going to mix these up almost randomly to help create a more naturalistic appearance. Some of these are going to be completely shaded, but that's okay. Most crypts will grow pretty much in darkness, so it's a really nice plant to fill up the mid-ground, really low maintenance. You might get what they call crypt melt, is when the leaves kind of disintegrate as they adapt to their new environment, but that's no problem. New growth will soon start, so don't worry too much. Okay, now it's time to plant our background stems. So I've already prepared them. We're using Rotala green, which is this here. And we've got some Pogostemon stellata, which is regarded as a demanding plant, but that's no problem for this setup because we're going to be using highlighting and CO2 injection. So the Rotala green is a real weed that will grow in pretty much any setup. It's really going to help establish the tank. It's going to grow really quickly, help use up any excess nutrients, which will help prevent algae. And then we've got our beautiful kind of focal plant. This is going to turn hopefully like a nice reddy purple colour. This is going to be planted towards the centre. That's a really nice focal point. Okay, next we're going to plant our Bucephalandra. We've got a mixture of different species here. We've got Bucephalandra wavy green, Bucephalandra red, and the new Bucephalandra mini red. So the wavy green and the red are from Tropica, and the mini red is from Aquaflora. So Bucephalandra, beautiful plant, very popular at the moment, very similar to Anubias in its growing conditions, likes to be attached to decor. I just like to wedge it into nooks and crannies, so we've got plenty of spaces there in between the rocks and the wood. Tolerate shade, so that's going to be no problem. And yeah, let's plant it. Okay, we're almost done with planting. Final touches, Microsaur and Trident. This is already attached to wood. This is from Tropica, it's called Aqua Decor. Really easy way to add instant focal points to your aquascape, ready grown onto the wood. This is also going to help to ensure the wood doesn't float because this is pre-soaked. Just pop it in where we think appropriate. The wood is a very similar colour already to the Manzanita wood, so it's already camouflaged. This is going to grow and form a really solid kind of central focal point, which is going to look beautiful. So it's shading the plants underneath, but that's no problem because they're all shade tolerant. Okay, we're planted. I'm really excited. It looks great already. I can imagine how it's going to grow in, and yeah, it looks really cool. So now we're ready to fill with water. I've got my special red colander. Stephen, chuck over the yellow one. So if you didn't know, if you're first time on my channel and you don't know about the red colander, it's very, very special to me. I've been using this for 15 years to fill up all my aquascapes basically. Now, I'm absolutely gobsmacked that Stephen has something very similar. They're like brothers and sisters. It's exactly the same design. This is yellow, obviously. This is red, but they are like twins. They're just different colours. So it's like we're meant to be. So how cool is that? Thank you, mate. So fill it up. We've got a huge bucket of water, holds about 100 litres. We're just going to pump directly from that into the aquascape, hopefully do it really slowly so we don't get any floating plants. We planted into dry soil, which is a technique that I've only just started using, but it seems to work very well. So touch wood, we don't get any floaters. So let's fill it up with water. Okay guys, scape's complete. We've fitted CO2, we've got the filter running, we've got the new Aquascaper glass pipework set, which has got a built-in surface skimmer. Everything's working really well. Really pleased with it. More importantly, Stephen's happy with it. He's very local to me, so he's kindly going to invite me back to do regular updates on this Aquascape, so you can look forward to those videos. Just a lovely nature aquarium. It's just going to look better and better as the days go on. Steve knows what he's doing, he knows how to look after it, he knows what he's going to be doing every day, every week, maintaining it. So if you enjoyed that video, give me a like, leave a comment. What's your favourite part of the aquascape? What's your favourite plant that we've used? Yeah, just let me know in the comments what you think. Always love to hear your feedback. I'll leave it there. Keep on scaping. Cheers. Bye-bye. Mine, he's a really in aquascaping, planted aquariums, or any type of inspirational, is that even a word? In a beautiful living space. And I don't know where I'm going with this story. Did you like that?